Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Tuesday, August the 7th. We have 14 games tonight on the main slate. Big slate. We have 4 stud options at pitcher today, 4 options over 10K on DraftKings. We got Scherzer, Carrasco, Newcomb, and Greinke. A lot of mid-tier plays as well. Rich Hill, Manaea, Mikolas. Good matchup there against the Marlins. Andrew Heaney gets the Tigers. Chase Anderson facing the Padres. Even a guy like CC Sabathia down there at 7,400 you got against the White Sox. You got Mike Montgomery at 7K. Good matchup there against the Royals. Glasnow, I'm not sure how deep he's going to go, but he gets a good matchup at home against the Orioles. There's a lot of mid-tier plays at pitcher today. There's definitely the studs. We'll talk about the pitchers I like. We'll go through pitching in general, just the position in general, and talk about the guys I'm going to be looking to target. Then we'll talk about the bats, the stacks. We'll go over some BVP plays as well. But before we do get started, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do click that subscribe button down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, we'll start off up top at pitcher. We have Max Scherzer leading the slate in price at $13,900. He gets a matchup at home against the Braves. And I honestly think Max is a pretty easy fade here, just at this price tag and with the matchup. The Braves, they have been striking out a little bit more lately, but they're still a team that really doesn't strike out. It's a tough matchup for Scherzer. Obviously, Scherzer's a great pitcher, but you just look in this lineup, there's just not a lot of Ks here. Scherzer's a great pitcher, like I said. He can strike guys out really no matter who's in the lineup, but this isn't the best matchup. Scherzer's still expensive too, which is the main reason I don't like him here. If we were getting Scherzer maybe at like 12.5 or even like 13K, I'd maybe consider him, but at $13.9, near $14,000, I just don't know if he has the upside to pay off this price tag. I don't see Scherzer really breaking the slate today. If he does, I guess I'll just lose because I'm not going to have much Scherzer. I don't see him going for like 35 to 40, which is really what you need if you're going to roster him at this price tag. I definitely like cheaper plays today. I'm not really in love with any of the stud options at pitcher. Carlos Carrasco gets a matchup against the Twins. I would say that's an average matchup. Not a great matchup, but definitely not a terrible one either. Carrasco, though, is expensive as well. He's $11,500, and he's pitching at home where he has struggled. Carrasco doesn't pitch nearly as good at home as he does on the road. And just in general, he has struggled at times against this Twins team, especially when he has faced them at home. Kind of off of Carrasco. Newcomb, I just don't know how much upside he has here, and he's not a guy I really want to pay $10,500 for versus the Nationals. Zach Greinke would probably be my favorite option out of the stud pitchers, just because he's the cheapest. He does have a good matchup against the Phillies. The Phillies have been good this year, but they definitely do strike out a lot versus right-handed pitching. They have a low total. You could definitely go to Greinke here. Just a 3.6 implied run total for the Phillies. And a lot of Ks here. Greinke has shown upside, especially his last few games, putting up some monster games. Would not surprise me at all if Greinke went for like 30 or more DraftKings points. He'd probably be the guy I'd pay up for if I was going to pay up. But like I said, there's cheap options I like today, like in this mid-range. I do want to pay up for bats today, and I really can't pay up for bats if I consider these stud options. So looking to the mid-range, the guy that I really like at 9K is Miles Mikolas versus the Marlins. The Marlins are a team that I do want to pick on with opposing pitchers. They're just not a good baseball team in general. They do have some strikeouts in their lineup. They weren't a team that struck out much at the beginning of the year, but the Ks have been going up for the Marlins lately. We look at how Mikolas did against the Marlins earlier this year. Pretty good outing. 7 innings, only allowed 3 hits. 1 run, that run wasn't even earned. Had 5 strikeouts, 27.4 DraftKings points for Mikolas when he faced the Marlins. We look at this Marlins lineup, their implied run total. It's a bad lineup. It's a low implied run total. It's a good pitcher's park. I just really like Mikolas here. I think he can definitely get 25 to 30 DraftKings points in this spot and really hit the value on this price tag. If you do want to go up to Greinke from Mikolas, if you can find the $1,100,000, or not $1,100,000, if you can find the $1,100 to go from Mikolas to Greinke, I think that does make sense. I really want some of the expensive bats, and I kind of need all the salary I can get today. So that's why I went down to Mikolas at 9K. And then my next guy is Chase Anderson. This was a guy I was on earlier this year. I believe he was against the Giants. He was like dirt cheap. He was like $5,500. Had his pretty solid outing, 19.1 DK points. Yeah, he was $5,500 that day, which was pretty good for that price tag. Anderson definitely got priced up though. He's $7,800 today, but the price tag's worth it for the matchup. We know this Padres team versus right-handed pitching just strike out a ton, a lot of Ks here. I do wish this game was being played in Petco because Petco is a much better pitcher's park. But still, just given the matchup and this Padres lineup, how bad it is, I like Chase Anderson here. A lot of Ks in this lineup. Anderson has 25, 30-point potential in this matchup, I feel like. On a 7,800, if he gets me that much and my bats come through for me, could definitely be the GPP winning strategy today. Finding two mid-range pitchers that you think have upside or that can at least really return value on their price. And then if you hit the expensive bats, or just hit the expensive stacks that really go off, that could be the way to go today. So I like Mikolas and Anderson as my two pitchers. Looking at some of the other pitchers we could possibly consider, Andrew Heaney at 8,800, people might go to versus the Tigers. Don't mind him if you want to go there. Think I would rather play Mikolas for just 200 more, but Heaney, especially in tournaments, should be a lot lower owned. You could go there if you want to play him in that mid-range. He could be an option. Nick Pavetta's been up and down this year, pretty much all year, but this is a guy that's shown upside throughout the year. 8,400 versus the Diamondbacks could possibly be a play. I mentioned Mike Montgomery at the beginning. It's 7K. He could be a potential cheaper option you consider versus the Royals if you want to go down to him. I don't think there's really any punt options I see today, like sub 6K. Not a lot of cheap plays I really want to go to. So now we'll go ahead and talk about the bats. We are definitely going to want to pay up for the expensive bats today. So we will start off at first base. I love Joey Gallo here. He's 5,100 and gets a matchup at home versus Felix Hernandez. I love this game stack today. Bartolo Colon and Felix Hernandez going to be pitching in Texas today, so there's going to be runs scored. Both of these pitchers are in the later part of their careers, just really don't have it anymore. Both pitchers I do want to attack, especially in this ballpark and this hitting environment where it's going to be very warm. It's going to be a good hitter. It's always a hitter's park, but especially when it's warm. So I really like the Mariners side here. I like the Rangers side. I just want a full game stack here. I think makes a ton of sense in tournaments, especially the guys like Nelly Cruz, who we'll talk about, Kyle Seager, Odor, Chu, Joey Gallo. These are kind of some of my favorite plays on the slate today, especially Gallo facing a guy like Felix Hernandez that really doesn't strike people out, that throws the ball in the zone. When you do that against Joey Gallo, it really doesn't work. Gallo's going to hit it out. I think he has a very good chance to homer today, and I think it's a great option at first base if you can pay up there at 5,100. Then at third base, more exposure to that game, sort of a value. Kyle Seager, 4,100 versus Bartolo Colon. I really like here as well. Kyle Seager is a guy that I really haven't played that much this year, but when he's in the right spots, I think he is definitely playable, and this is one of those right spots in Texas against Bartolo Colon. Seager's going to have the platoon split, facing a bad righty in a good hitter's park and good hitting weather. I think he makes a ton of sense here. Definitely has good potential to take Bartolo deep, and just this Mariners team in general has a potential to rack up a ton of runs today. So I love Seager. I think he's a great third base play if you are looking to go a little bit cheaper at that position. The Nelly Cruz I mentioned as well. This dude just continues to rake. He's like 35 years old, I believe, and dude just continues to hit homers year in and year out. Already has 29 homers on the year, and he just keeps adding to that total. Feel like Nelly Cruz, I felt like this guy was going to sort of die down a little bit, really wasn't going to have it anymore, but that hasn't been the case. Still has a ton of power, and versus a guy like Bartolo Colon that's not going to strike people out, that throws the ball in the zone. Nelly Cruz, great play here versus Colon. Definitely has double dunk potential. I think makes a ton of sense if you're paying up in the outfield. Not sure how owned he'll be because we do have a core slate today. So guys like Charlie Blackmon are going to carry ownership. Cargo, people might look to pay it for. Dickerson, Marte, those guys might be owned today. So a guy like Nelly Cruz could go a little bit under the radar and definitely has an upside here versus Cologne in Globe Life Park. Love that Seattle-Texas game. Just a game stack in general I think makes a ton of sense. But yeah, guys, these are my 5 plays for tonight's 14-game slate. Miles Mikolas, Chase Anderson, Joey Gallo, Kyle Seager, and Nelson Cruz. Now we'll quickly go over some stacks I like today, and we'll talk about some BVP plays as well. So top stack for me, I would say it's probably the Mariners. They're probably my favorite side on this, if we're talking about this game in general. I love the Mariners here. The Rangers are definitely number 2. Love the Rangers as well. Not very high on Coors Field today. As I'm recording this video, we do not have any run totals yet. But Chad Bettis, Jameson Taillon, 2 pitchers I don't think are that terrible. Honestly, would not expect Coors Field to really win the slate today. I don't think Coors is going to be very high scoring. Probably not going to be looking at there. Much more interested in the game in Texas. That's where I'm really looking to for my bats. Then looking away from those two games that should carry a lot of ownership, if we want to look maybe for some lower owned stack, you always have the Indians. You can always consider them. 5.3 implied run total versus Alberto Mejia. If you want to go to the Indians at home, I think that makes sense. Clayton Richard, getting him out of Petco, having to travel to Miller Park versus the Brewers, who have been red hot. Added Jonathan Scope. This is a great lineup you could target versus Richard. Guys like Kane, Aguiar, Scope, Braun, Hernan Perez. You could definitely consider versus Clayton Richard if you want to do that. You got the Cubs with the 5.5 implied run total versus Brad Keller. I could see going there with some of the lefties, Rizzo, Zobrist, Hayward, Schwarber, if you want to do that. The Yankees with a 5.6 implied run total versus Reynaldo Lopez. The Yankees should also be a stack you consider, but it's Globe Life Park for me today. That's where I'm really looking to, the Mariners and the Rangers. By far my two favorite stacks on this slate. But yeah, looking at BVP real quick, talking about some of the BVP plays. We really don't have many for it to be a 14-game slate. But starting off, Xander Bogaerts gone 11 for 29 with 2 home runs versus Marcus Stroman. Mitch Moreland 5 for 11 versus Stroman. Justin Smoke 5 for 12 versus Drew Pomeranz. Joe Mauer 14 for 35 with a home run versus Carlos Carrasco. Joey Gallo 4 for 15 versus Felix Hernandez. Abdul Herrera 4 for 11 with the home run versus Greinke. Asdrubal Cabrera also hit Greinke well, 15 for 35. And then lastly, Justin Upton gone 4 for 12 with 2 home runs versus Jacob Turner. But yeah, guys, that's it for BVP. Those are my 5 plays for today, and I think that is it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully the video did help you. If you enjoyed, just make sure you click that like button before you get out of here. If you have not subscribed yet, if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm always replying to comments, so comment anything about the slate, any questions you have in general. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And good luck tonight on this 14-game slate. Peace.